Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Tara Setmayer in for the one and only Mary Trump. We've got a lot going on, including, I heard there's a rally tomorrow or something. But first, we get to the top news. Start now. Welcome, everyone. Like I said, Tara Setmayer in today for Mary Trump. Welcome to Mary Trump Live. And it has been quite the week. I know I'm not the only one. I am fresh off of protesting on the grounds of the University of Virginia against another Trump attempt to go after political dissent, but we'll get to that in a minute. Some big news today in Washington, D.C. You might have heard that the president of Ukraine is in town. And this has been one of those situations where Donald Trump has been all over the map. As we know, he has a love affair with Vladimir Putin. The last time Zelensky was in town, it didn't quite go as planned. This time, a little different vibe happening. Donald Trump, I think, started to realize that Vladimir Putin was playing him, I guess. But then he's right back to placating Vladimir. I mean, I just don't understand the bromance. How many times does Donald Trump have to get played by Putin before he realizes that the guy's not your friend? He's not in love with you. You might worship him. He's playing you for the village idiot that you are. But here we are, folks. Here we are. So what is happening with Zelensky? Well, like I said, it's a little friendlier visit this time. Zelensky also utilized his visit fully by meeting with other folks besides just the president this time. He met with some defense contractors. He met with some folks who are allies on his side. They're really working the room because they're at a critical juncture here. And the opportunity for them to get offensive weapons, Tomahawk missiles from our administration, this is really important. Now, Donald Trump goes back and forth. We don't know what he's going to do from one day to the next, from 1 hour to the next. He speaks out of both sides of his ass. So we don't know what he means when he says it. Is he going to stick to what he says? Is he not? We don't know. But as of right now, there's still a lot of things that are up in the air. He started talking in ways that those of us who support Ukraine and who think that they should get whatever they need to vanquish Russia and get them the hell out of their country. He said something about, oh, maybe we'll give him Tomahawk missiles. Well, that would be great. But then he got on the phone with his boyfriend, Putin, who basically, I'm sure, wasn't thrilled about that. And Trump came back and said, oh, well, I talked to Vladimir and yeah, he didn't like that. No shit, Donald. No shit. So I don't know what necessarily is going to come out of the conversation today. This idea that Trump and Putin are going to meet in Budapest, Hungary in a couple weeks. Not sure what the point of that is if Zelensky's not going to be in the room. Choosing Hungary was a strategic decision, obviously. Viktor Orban is the dictator over there who is friendly with Putin. Hungary has not been friendly to Ukraine. They have been part of the effort to keep Ukraine out of the EU. So it feels like that's not neutral territory. That's probably not where ideally I would want to go if I were Zelensky for a meeting like that. But here we are. Hungary is a very interesting country that we should keep paying attention to, because if you look at what Viktor Orban has done in Hungary, Donald Trump is doing the same things here. He is mirroring what Orban is doing. There's a reason why MAGAs love this guy. There's a reason why they have a CPAC every year in Hungary. There's a reason why they invite Orban to events in the United States. They have looked at the template of what he did there, and they're trying to do that here. So just an aside about Hungary. But during the press conference today, I think that Trump said, here we go. He said, we'd much rather have them not need Tomahawks. He said the United States would rather the war be over. Well, broken promise. Donald Trump said the war would be over in 24 hours if he were elected president. It's October. The war is not over because Donald Trump is an idiot. He said, but between the talks about actual war, Donald Trump made sure to get into some, of course, because if you ever watch these press conferences in the White House, it's always a spectacle. Trump always says something obnoxious and stupid, and the press corps just kind of shrugs because it's just another day that ends in Y. If any other president said a fraction of the things that Donald Trump says during these White House events, it would be front page news. They'd be talking about Article 25 and the whole thing. But no, not Donald Trump. He gets away with saying all kinds of crazy shit. But here we go. This is what he said. He said, when asked about Biden's diplomacy, Donald Trump took the chance to take low blows at Joe Biden. Take a look.
When we were in Israel with President Trump earlier in the week, we heard a lot about the difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Joe Biden before him. What do you see as the biggest difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Biden?
President Trump has a big chance now to finish this war. President Biden now is not the president, so he doesn't have a chance to finish this war. And President Trump is really showed for the world that he can manage ceasefire in Middle East, and that's why I hope that he will do this, and we will also have such big success. For Ukraine, it's a big chance, and I hope that President Trump can manage it.
I would say the biggest difference is one is extremely competent and the other one is grossly incompetent.
It's always a projection. Always a projection. Joe Biden was not extremely incompetent. That's you, Donald. Look in the mirror. He also was asked what would happen if Putin doesn't agree to the peace agreement. I mean, I feel like it's Groundhog Day with this situation, but it is what it is. So, of course, in classic fashion, what does Trump say? What does he say? He defends Vladimir. Take a look.
Was he what? Where are you from?
From Ukraine. We actually had a
Okay, good.
conversation with me.
Good, yeah.
What if Mr. President Putin doesn't agree to peace in Hungary? What do you do then? Do you have...
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, you know, what if? I think he will. I think that President Putin wants to end the war, or I wouldn't be talking this way. I think he wants to end the war. I spoke to him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We went through a lot of details. He wants to get it ended. I think that President Zelensky wants to get it ended. Now we have to get it done.
Again, it's another day that ends in Y. It feels very Groundhog Day. I give Zelensky so much credit. The guy is a hero. History will remember him fondly. History will not remember Donald Trump fondly. And the idea that the United States would give so much deference to Vladimir Putin, a war criminal, a murderer, a corrupt dictator, is just still hard for me as a former Republican to believe. Ronald Reagan spinning in his grave. But here we are. So we'll see. 2 weeks, right? It's supposed to be in 2 weeks. That's what the Trump administration uses for everything. It's like the movie. What was it? Better Off Dead? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like everything was 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. Or then again, there's Money Pit too. There was also that reference. It'll be done in 2 weeks. The 2 weeks thing is a joke, but it's not a joke for what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think the jury is still out, but a much friendlier meeting today. And Zelensky saying all the right things. He actually got an opportunity to stay at the Blair House this time, and he didn't get ushered out, and there weren't any screaming matches. So I guess that's progress. But Slava Ukraini, we need to support them. Well, someone else speaking about war. Somebody else is in trouble. John Bolton. Remember him? Donald Trump's former national security advisor, the guy with the stash. Yeah, he's been very outspoken about Donald Trump since he was fired as national security advisor back during Trump 1. He was one of the architects behind the bombing of the Iran Revolutionary Guard guy, Soleimani. He's had a fatwa on his head. The Iranians want to assassinate him. He had Secret Service protection for years, which was quite unusual for people who are no longer in government to have full Secret Service protection, but a little bit of an unusual situation. Well, Donald Trump pulled that Secret Service protection, that courtesy, relatively quickly after he came back into office. And John Bolton was on the list of the long list of political enemies that Trump promised retribution against. He did not get a preemptive pardon from Joe Biden for reasons I'm sure you can imagine. He's not exactly a favorite of the Democrats. But Donald Trump has made good on his retribution tour, another stop on the retribution tour. They indicted John Bolton yesterday. Now, there's been a lot of discussion here about whether the John Bolton indictment is in the same category as the bullshit Tish James indictment and James Comey indictments. Those indictments are a lot more legally unsound. They're bullshit. Like, remember, you had U.S. attorneys that were either fired or resigned over moving forward with it. Donald Trump demanded that they be indicted. Career prosecutors were like, this is some bullshit. There's nothing here. We're not doing this. And they either resigned or got fired. Donald Trump installed his henchmen or women to push through these indictments. A lot of people think they are on very thin legal ground. The Bolton indictment, a little bit different. 18 counts of possession and retention of classified material related to national defense. Now, this is a little more complicated, like I said, because Bolton, it's in relation to him writing his book in the room where it happened. And it seems as though he was transmitting some information that was considered classified through an AOL account to his book publishers, to his editors. And the first draft of his book was actually rejected because it didn't pass national security standards. For people who are in the intelligence community or in law enforcement that have high security clearances, if they write a book, the book usually has to be vetted by that agency to make sure that classified information isn't released. This goes with this is pretty routine. This happens a lot. But what doesn't happen is people keeping that classified information for notes and things. I mean, some people do this. They don't really, if it's kind of benign, it could be technically classified. Usually they will get away with it. It's not at the criminal level. Now, this had been looked at before because he was hacked by the Iranians back in 2019 as he was writing this book. And he talked to the FBI. They were like, okay, they take a look at stuff. But they didn't quite go further and see what was going on there. Of course, the Trump administration at this point said, oh, we think that there's a there. Well, his house got raided by the feds. They took materials, and now they have a case in front of a grand jury, indicted him, and now he's officially indicted. Of course, Bolton is going to fight the charges, but I can tell you this case is a little bit different. It has a little more teeth than the Tish James and Comey indictments. So I would reserve judgment. I mean, is it retribution? Yes, of course. And they have the powers of all the levers of the federal government to go out there and give him, serious scrutiny. In a normal situation, would this be happening? No. But we're not living in normal times. So John Bolton is in some trouble here, I think. I'm not a lawyer, but some of the lawyers on TV have also made that observation. There's also, and pay attention to this, guys, there's some reference to Bolton talking to Mike Pence about some of this stuff back then. And we all know that Donald Trump is no fan of Mike Pence. So let's see if Mike Pence gets wrapped up in this whole thing. It should be very interesting. There's a bunch of folks who were talked to about some of these things that John Bolton was writing about. So I think this is going to be something to keep an eye on. And we know it's not going to end there. Jack Smith, the former January 6th special prosecutor, he's on that list. They're trying to come for him. Jack Smith is mentioned in this indictment as well. Former Justice Department senior prosecutor Andrew Weissman, who just did a really excellent interview with Jack Smith, because we hardly hear from Jack Smith. And Andrew Weissman just did an interview with him recently that I encourage folks to go check out on YouTube. And I am looking forward to Jack Smith potentially testifying in front of Congress. I think people need to hear from him directly. We also know that Adam Schiff is someone else that Donald Trump has had a bee in his bonnet for quite some time. So these are some of the next round. This is like the next round of people that we should be paying attention to, that Donald Trump is going to try to go after. And I don't know if there's any Ted Lasso fans out there, but I'm a Ted Lasso super fan, and Jack Smith looks like Coach Beard. I'm sorry, he looks just like him. It would freak me out anytime we would see that photo of him. He looks like Coach Beard. I'm sticking to it. Shout out to Ted Lasso and Roy Kent. All right, moving on. So speaking of retribution, you guys may or may not have heard that the Trump administration is now going after 9 more universities, in a little bit differently than the way they were going after Harvard and some others. This time, they are looking to get these universities to sign this compact that basically says you can't belittle conservative ideology. And if you agree to say that you're not going to belittle them, then we'll consider continuing to fund you. What kind of bullshit is that? That's not free and fair ideas in a democracy in higher institutions of learning. That's state control. That shouldn't be happening. And they're trying to wrap it up again where, well, if you sign the compact, it's a good deal for you, then we'll give you funding. No, that's not how this works. That is not how any of this works. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I was down at the University of Virginia today as part of, I'm a resident scholar there for the Center for Politics. I have been for the last couple of years, and I absolutely love being a part of their program. Professor Larry Sabato is an absolute icon in the political science space, and to have the opportunity to be a part of their Center for Politics it's really an honor. And Charlottesville is beautiful, and the drive down there is beautiful. So I always enjoy the opportunity to go down there. And I was down there alongside my good friend Jim Acosta, who is also a new resident scholar at UVA, and former January 6th Metro PD officer Michael Fanone, which everyone is familiar with. Jim was doing a town hall, a live stream with Michael. I was there. We talked a little bit about what's going on. And today, that was last night. Today, there was a big protest on grounds against this compact. So I've gotten into the protest mode a little early before No Kings tomorrow. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That's why I have my shirt on today that says the road to fascism was paved with people who people told you that you were overreacting. I love this t-shirt. I don't even remember where I found it, but I think we should make more. But this speaks to the moment. But I was down there, and it was really encouraging to see the students involved. There's a lot of people at the university at UVA who do not want this. However, their interim president is very MAGA, and their board of visitors is appointed by the governor, who's Glenn Youngkin, who's a Republican, and a lot of them are MAGA. But the student body, the Senate, the faculty, a lot of donors to the university, they don't want them signing this compact, nor should they, because it's bullshit. And it's just, you can't negotiate with fascists. And once you give an inch, we see what happens. Just ask ABC, CBS. Like, you cannot negotiate with these people. So it says right here, in the past week, Brown University, MIT, University of Pennsylvania, USC, they've all rejected this pledge. This is according to the New York Times. So far, they've been like, not no, but hell no. So they've rejected Donald's bid to give preferential funding treatment to schools that show loyalty to him. In order to get said funding, the universities would have to cave to a list of their demands. Now, Harvard was the first university to reject this proposal. So yay, Harvard. And there were a bunch of others that also said, kick rocks, we're not doing this. And like I said, UVA still hasn't officially said they're not going to sign the pledge. So that's what the big protest was about today. I posted some pictures and video on my Instagram. If you guys want to see some of the activity down there, but I'm really hoping that UVA does not cave. That would be really, really awful. And considering the University of Virginia was founded by Thomas Jefferson, who was a really big proponent of free speech, freedom of the press, I think that would be pretty awful. He would have some things to say, I think, today about what's going on in our higher institutions of learning here. But we'll see. Hopefully UVA does the right thing. But this is another example of when the righteous anger of the American people comes together, things can happen. Things can happen, which is what leads me to no kings tomorrow. I know that there are many of you in this chat today who will be going to protests tomorrow. Now, for those who don't know me, I was a Republican for 27 years. I didn't do these kind of protests, right? That was for the crazy liberals on the other side. Forgive me. I'm trying to, make up for my past misdeeds. But I went to my first protest for the first No Kings in June. And it was an incredible experience. Like, I cried tears. It was so powerful to be in that sea of humanity and hearing people chant, "This is what democracy looks like," in this moment. There was a lot of emotions for me. It was really pretty remarkable. And my organization, the Seneca Project, we did a promo video in June for No Kings that we put out that went viral. And we've done some more work with that because we are a messaging and content organization in partnership with Indivisible to get people pumped up to go, because there are some folks, given what's happened since June and the show of force that Donald Trump and this regime have put on the streets of our cities in LA, in Chicago, Memphis, DC, the National Guard and ICE acting like a Gestapo. There was some concern that people were afraid to come out. And so we needed to really ramp up the promotion to encourage people. We have to come out. This is what they want. You cannot give them what they want, which is to scare us all into silence and obedience. We can't do it. Can't do it. So I want to show one of the first promo. It's called FOMO, to kind of get us going for this conversation about going out to No Kings tomorrow. Check it out.
For my future.
You are not alone. There are millions of people with you.
Shout out to New York Betty, our editors that worked with us on that, and in partnership with Indivisible and Seneca Project. That was our first video. We're gonna end the show with the other one, which is a more inspirational one. So we're gonna save that one for the end. But it's really important for folks who may have never protested before or who are concerned about the feds trying to instigate. We have a video that was made. Mary's folks put it together with safety pointers. I think this is really, really important. How to peacefully protest. There's some pointers of what to do, some information. No Kings has been really great about this. You can go to nokings.org as well. If you miss it here, they have a list you can put your zip code in. You can see where there's protests. 'Cause right now, I believe there's 2,700 different protests happening across the country tomorrow. The first one made history. We're trying to make history again this time. And there's also explainers of things to do. But I believe we have a slide that shows some of what organizers are doing out there. Like, it's pretty incredible if you think about it. And the thing that's crazy about this is that Republicans now are paying attention. Trump and them, they're paying attention, and they literally had the audacity to call this Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, the Keebler elf one. Yeah, him. He had the audacity to say that these are hate America rallies. Hate America rallies? Republicans are so desperate and so scared of the American people speaking out and exercising our First Amendment rights that they would literally call people doing this who are not okay with a fascist regime happening, right? We're 1 foot through the door here. That we're the ones that hate America? Really? How dare they? Honestly, this has really just pissed me off this week. I mean, they pissed me off a lot, but this really, like, how freaking dare they? We're not the ones that are busting down doors masked like a Gestapo, ripping people in the middle of the night out of their beds to detain them, to show in a show of force to scare immigrants and American citizens, apparently at this point, to terrorize people. That's not our side. We're not the ones throwing reporters out of the Pentagon because they don't want transparency. We're not the ones that have blurred the lines with the Department of Justice and the White House just becoming the Department of Justice becoming a retribution legal team for Donald Trump. That's not our side. We're not the ones weaponizing the Department of Justice and our federal law enforcement against American citizens, or forcing the National Guard to patrol the streets of our cities, militarizing our cities. We're not the side that said we think that our city should be used as military training grounds, the way Donald Trump said. That's not our side. Not our side. We're not the ones that have wackadoodles running around screaming about plenary power like Stephen Miller and unleashing the power of law enforcement to violate civil liberties of people on American soil. That's not our side. But they're talking about we're the ones that hate America. Those bastards hate everything that makes America great. Everything about it. Our diversity, our kindness, our compassion, science. Come on. We hate America. How dare they? So I can't wait for this show of protest tomorrow peacefully, of saying, screw you, F you. We don't do kings in America. You guys are not going to silence us. You're not going to shut us up. Too bad. They're going to have to pay attention and see millions upon millions of Americans out there protesting peacefully. I cannot emphasize that enough. No matter where you live, if there are agitators or they try to provoke, you do not take a page out of the civil rights era, because that's what they're looking for. You see what ridiculousness that they in Portland. They're arresting people in inflatables, for God's sakes. They're arresting the furries who are out there protesting. It's absurd. It's absurd. I'm sure everybody saw, maybe not, the video of Kristi Noem, the border Barbie bitch. That's our Homeland Security Secretary, cosplaying out there. It's disgusting. She's so contemptible. How she went to Portland to look at the anarchy that's happening in Portland. What anarchy? There are people in inflatables. There's a guy in a chicken suit. She was on top of a roof looking around. And then she said, they must have hid the Antifa protesters. Get the fuck out of here. Hid them. It's so ridiculous. But I can tell you this. There are Republicans, it's being reported right now, that are getting tired of her. They're getting tired of her antics. They're getting tired of the Gestapo tactics. They're getting tired of her in her taxpayer-funded, glam cosplaying as a tough law enforcement, and then all these movie level, like Hollywood produced propaganda videos that they're using to scare people. It's now, of course, none of these Republicans will put their names to things, but they're saying it on background anonymously, because while she's doing all of this, running around cosplaying cop, she's not doing her actual job as DHS secretary, like making sure FEMA funds are distributed. Remember that whole thing with those catastrophic floods in Texas, and how there was FEMA aid was delayed because she now has to sign off on anything that's over a certain amount. That is so incredibly bureaucratic and unnecessary. As someone that worked on emergency response stuff down in the Florida Keys, where hurricane season happens a lot. I can tell you that those critical services and time matters when people have lost everything or if there's a storm coming. Like, this is so absurd, but they're doing that because they want to control FEMA aid and punish areas that are not pro-Trump or extort people in those areas to make sure that they do what Trump wants, or you're not going to get your emergency aid. They are really messing with people's lives. And it's so screwed up. It's so messed up. And finally, Republicans are starting to realize, oh, well, maybe this wasn't such a great idea. Like, cut the shit. Our people are suffering, and the blowback is going to be on us because midterms are coming up and they're going to have to answer for it. That's why it's very important, Democrats, to make sure that the American people know who to blame for their suffering. It is Donald Trump. It is Republicans. It is their fault. The shutdown is their fault. All of this pain going on in our federal government and these mass firings, that is their fault. Democrats are not in power. Mike Johnson is the one that refuses to bring the House back in session. Democrats have been ready to work, ready to negotiate on behalf of the American people and protecting health care and other things. And it is the Republicans that are refusing to bring the House back in session. They are in charge. So cut all this Schumer shutdown shit out. That's farthest from the truth. And that message is resonating, that it is the Republicans who are in charge. So keep it up. Keep it up. Hakeem Jeffries, more Brooklyn Hakeem, more Brooklyn Hakeem. We need that. We need that. We need that. But the Kristi Noem stuff and what's happening, it's all tied in. It's all tied in to the No Kings rallies, because not only are they trying to rebrand this, and Republicans are usually very good at this because they all sing from the same hymnal. They all get the same talking point memo every morning. You hear it everywhere. They repeat. It doesn't matter what you ask them. You could ask them, what's the weather? They'll say, Democrats are engaging in a Hate America rally on Saturday. You could ask them, what did their kid have for breakfast? The Democrats are engaging in a Hate America rally on Saturday. Like, the Republicans are uniquely on message all the time, which is part of the problem here. They're very good at it. But they look like idiots because the No Kings rallies, especially the one in June, it was a sea of American flags. It was a sea of humanity, of majority peaceful protesting going on. So they look like jerk-offs, okay, trying to assert that this is somehow a Hate America rally. It doesn't even make sense. So tomorrow, when you're out there and in the comments, let us know where some of the places where you guys will be protesting. That'll be very cool. I'll give you a shout out. Just make sure you stay peaceful, because you know what else they're doing? Not only are they calling it a Hate America rally, which it's not. Caroline Leavitt, who I have no patience for her. She is like nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't with her. Add her to the list of these awful people, particularly women that are out here screaming at people and like North Korean level propaganda. I think we have Mike Johnson first. I want you to hear what Mike Johnson had to say, because don't believe me about what they're calling it. Listen to Mike Johnson.
Every American has every right to exercise their First Amendment freedoms. I'm personally a big advocate of that. I spent the first 20 years of my legal career in the federal courts before I came to Congress defending the right to free speech. They have the right to do it. Republicans, by the way, are the party that fights to maximize your liberty. And we believe, just as our founders did, that every American has been endowed by God himself with unalienable rights, and that includes the rights to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But tomorrow, this rally is not about freedom. It's about the opposite. For many of our Democrat colleagues, tomorrow is about creating really a spectacle. That's what they've been doing here every day of the shutdown, with their little TikTok videos and their publicity stunts, and they're going to do it in a much larger venue tomorrow. And as the shutdown drags on, it's becoming increasingly clear that this spectacle is the reason the Democrats have refused to reopen the government.
So now, I mean, Mike Johnson has made every excuse up not to bring the House back in session. They should have been back in session. They don't want to seat Congresswoman-elect Grijalva because she'd be the 218th vote for the Epstein discharge petition to release the Epstein files. That's the real reason. And Mike Johnson has used every excuse possible as to why they are not in session and trying to blame the shutdown on Democrats. Now it's the protests. That's the reason. What? It doesn't even make sense. They're so pathetic. Doesn't even make sense. Like, he sounds like a jackass. He sounds like an absolute little jackass that he is. Now, like I said, Caroline Leavitt, I can't stand her, but we're all going to suffer together. Listen to what she said. Listen to what she's calling us now.
The Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. I can't. They are really grasping at straws here, aren't they? Is it just me? How asinine do they sound? Just look at the rally footage from the past. Those look like Hamas terrorists to you and violent criminals. There's a lot of people like over 60 that are out there protesting. Okay? Like, stop it. It is ridiculous. There were people, young and old, when I was in Philadelphia for the last one in June. There were people out there from every walk of life. There were families with their babies and strollers walking down the protest route. Okay? Like, stop it. They are so despicable. And Hillary Clinton was right when she called them deplorables. That's actually being kind. How dare they? I just cannot. So I'll be out there tomorrow. We were a couple minutes late to the show because I was running around, like I told you, like a crazy person. I'm in like protest mode. I went to get my protest signs made. Here's one. I have another one. I have a bunch that are just awesome. I'm gonna post them. I have all kinds. Who's got their protest signs ready? Here's another one. Here's a good one. One day your grandchildren will ask you what you did. May you offer more than silence. I like this one. So I have a bunch. I haven't decided which ones I'm gonna take with me, which ones I'm gonna give away to some folks. But I'm all about it. We got to get out there and make our voices heard. They are not going to intimidate us. They are not going to silence us. Nope. Because in America, we don't do fucking kings. All right. I'm going to take some of your questions. Let's see. What have we got today? What have we got, Lex? Okay. We have William Kiensel. Should I put my glasses on so I can read? William, thank you for becoming a YouTube member today. Mary appreciates that. Guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't. If you can become a member, please support Mary and independent media. It's so important. It's so important. That's how we can get unfiltered information out there. So, William, thank you very much. What else have we got? Glad I have glasses here. Oh, in the middle of nowhere. Thank you for the $10. That is awesome. Happy to see you, Tara. Love your perspective. Thank you. It is always a pleasure to hang out with Mary's loyal crowd, but thank you for having me. We have Cassandra. All the focus upon retribution is leaving our country vulnerable to real emergent domestic attacks. Cassandra, you are correct about that. I have a lot of friends in the law enforcement and intel community. I have friends in the military, and we are less safe today than we were on January 19th. I just don't know if the American people fully appreciate that. We've gotten lucky that something major hasn't happened yet, but the operative word here is yet. While Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, Tulsi Gabbard, all of these idiots that are running these very important agencies that are tasked with keeping us safe, they're too busy playing a role, acting in performative politics in the reality show production that Donald Trump puts on every day to keep dear leader happy. Our country is less and less safe. They have gutted our cybersecurity. They've gutted our counterterrorism units. They're sending FBI agents out to kick down doors with ICE, which is not what they're supposed to do. I was talking to someone yesterday that was telling me about one of the DHS units that focuses on child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and cyber, like pornography and things like that. They were pulled out of their unit to go kick down doors in Memphis. They were pissed. That's not what they do. That's not what they do. And you know what happened? The leaders of their units just told them, let them go. Don't just like act like you're chasing them, but let them go. And after a week of them at that unit making like no arrests, they sent them home. Not a bad tactic. So a little tidbit there. But thank you for that, Cassandra. You were 100% right. We are less safe in this administration. Anthony Davis. I have relatives who will be protesting in Michigan and a few who will be protesting here in Dallas. I'm so proud of everyone for being so brave to do this. Amen. Courage is contagious, folks. Good for your family and your relatives, Anthony. That's what we need. That's what it. Listen, I recently published my TED Talk. I had the privilege of doing a TEDx talk. I never thought that anyone would ever ask me. They did. And my TED Talk is available right now. Actually, I wrote about it in my Substack today. If you don't follow me on Substack and you're over there, I write for Uncompromised by Tara. That's my Substack. And the title of my TED Talk is Stand Up or Stand By. Is moral courage the revolution we need? And it's only 12 minutes long. And the timing of this, I actually did the talk back in June, but it takes a while for it to get approved and updated. And it finally got released. And I'm telling you, the timing could not have been better given the moment that we're in. Are you going to stand up or stand by? I hope people stand up. It's only 12 minutes, so I hope folks go check it out. And if you like my TED Talk, please share it, because the farther it goes, the more people I hope it will inspire. Thank you, Anthony. All right, Susan Williams. Please stay safe tomorrow. Go with friends. Watch everywhere. Don't use your phone unless a quick call. Fight, fight, fight. Yes, depending on where you are, there may be, like if you're in Chicago or some of the places where there's more opportunity for agitation, just be vigilant. Again, nokings.org. They have a list of what to do. The ACLU also has some safety tips of what to do. They tell you to turn your location off if you have location settings on your phone. Some people say take a burner phone. They say keep your phone on your person. Don't put it in your bag if you carry a bag with you. In case you get separated from your bag, you have your phone on your person. So these are just some little tidbits. They say tear gas is actually not a gas. It's like a sediment. It's like a powder. So if you get tear gassed, don't rub your eyes. Don't use water. Use something like milk. They say to have something to cover your face. It's even if it's cloth, it's better than nothing. Sunglasses, even if you don't have goggles, better than nothing. Hopefully, these are worst case scenarios. Hopefully nothing like that happens wherever you are, but be prepared just in case. It's good to know. The more you know. Next. That looks like it says Mission DR 100. We all know Trump wants to get everyone. Given enough time, even Rubio and Cruz are not safe. I don't know what it's going to take for these people to realize that it's never going to be enough for Trump. Never. You're right. No one is safe. And the fact that these people continue to sully themselves and get on their knees for Donald Trump, elbowing each other, fighting for who's going to be more loyal, when are they going to learn? Nobody's safe. Donald Trump will send his own kids down the river. Maybe not Ivanka, but the rest of them, those sons, forget it. He doesn't even acknowledge Tiffany. So you think that Ted Cruz or Rubio or any of these idiots that are kissing his ass in those North Korea style cabinet meetings that somehow protects them? It doesn't. The joke is on them. The joke is on them. I can't wait. I hope we have Nuremberg style tribunals once we get these bastards out of office, because there needs to be some serious accountability for what they have done to our government, to our justice system. My God. But that's another conversation for another day. Susan Thompson, thank you so much for moderating. And for folks, if you want to support my organization, the Seneca Project, and support our efforts, there's our website. We are grassroots fueled. We are a super PAC. So we don't have millionaires or billionaires supporting us. We only have you guys. So if you like what we do over at Seneca, I hope that if you cannot support us financially, please, please, please share our content and like and subscribe. Help us get out there in the algo, as they say, as the kids say. Let's take one more. Krista in Indiana. Is that what that says? Yes. Do we have one more question or comment? No? Okay. Well, here we go. Wait, Cassandra, human trafficking, cybercrimes are losing ground since yes, I mentioned that before. And we had the most secure elections. We had our cybersecurity. We have the best cybersecurity analysts in the world. And a lot of them have been furloughed or Doge came in. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess. But yeah. That's you. People don't realize when you vote for a president, you don't just vote for them. You also get the people they're going to put, you get the government that are going to put in place. And people are finding that out the hard way, especially people who live in red states. Donald Trump has betrayed you. He's betrayed the military. He's betrayed our farmers. He's betrayed blue collar workers. He's betrayed a lot of his voters. But we need to keep hammering that message home until they realize it, because people don't change until they pay it up for a price, unfortunately. We all have to pay the price in the meantime. But before we go, it is Friday. We can't leave on a sour note. No, we are going to show you the emotional support moment, because we all need it. We all need the emotional support moment. So what have we got for you today? I love that. I love fall. It's one of my favorite times of the year. You should see my house. It's totally decked out. And as my set, I always put some cool fall things. Like I said, my drive back from Charlottesville was beautiful. The foliage turning. It's just, I love fall. It is a beautiful, beautiful time of the year. And what better way than to enjoy nature? Get out there, touch grass, find your bright spot, and get out there. And do not let them silence you. It's another one of my signs. Silencing dissent is the first sign of tyranny. We are not going to let them silence us. We're going to go out there and show them that this is America. We don't do kings. And I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you for everybody who's joined me on a Friday. Thank you to everyone who's supported financially today and their donations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mary will be back, I believe, on Monday. She might be back before that, but she will be back. She will be back. We are very happy for Mary. And I'm going to leave you with our final No Kings promo. It's called Stand Up. It asks you, what are you going to do? Will you meet the moment? History is calling. I say we go out there, make history, and answer the call. Thanks, guys. See you at the No Kings rallies tomorrow.
We are together as one. Whole world is watching and I hope we ready. Been through a whole lot but we overcome.
People need to come together.
No kings, no kings. I was waiting for this and now it's my turn.
This is restoring my faith in humanity. We are stronger together.
We got the power.
I love this country.
Be safe, guys.